we will pursuant to our charter, we have to elect a president of the council or serve as mayor. So somebody needs to make a motion there.
I move that the ballot stay where it is.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Like that.
Congratulations.
All right.
President, go ahead.
Thank you.
Roll call, Jake.
Chris Anson,
Here.
Trace Connor,
Here.
Tim Poplin.
Here.
Eddie Foreman.
Here.
John Kramer, Larry Church,
Here,
Corey Crabtree, Dana Miller,
Here.
Jeff Griffin. We have a quorum.
Consideration and action of consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
second.
Roll call, Jake.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Eddie Foreman.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes,
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
With no items removed from consent agenda, do we have any appearances or petitions from the audience? With none, we'll move on to current business. Current business is consideration and possible action to approve the 2-year support and maintenance agreement with DBT Transportation Aviation for the All-Weather Observation System, AWOS.
Move to approve.
second.
Roll call, Jake.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Eddie Foreman.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes,
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Moving on to the public meeting of the Seminole Gas Authority. Roll call, please, Jake.
Larry Church,
Here,
Tim Poplin.
Here.
Corey Crabtree, Dana Miller,
Here.
Trace Connor,
Here.
John Kramer, Chris Anson,
Here.
Eddie Foreman.
Here.
Jeff Griffin. We have a quorum.
Consideration and action of consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
Roll call, Jake.
Larry Church,
yes,
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Dana Miller,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
If no items removed from consent agenda and no appearances or petitions from the audience, I will move for adjournment.
So moved.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Moving on to the municipal authority. Roll call, please, Jake.
Corey Crabtree, Eddie Foreman,
Here.
Tim Poplin,
Here.
Dana Miller,
Here.
Larry Church,
Here,
Chris Anson,
Here.
John Kramer, Trace Connor,
Here.
Jeff Griffin. We have a quorum.
Consideration and action of consent agenda.
Motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor? Or roll call, Jake.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Dana Miller,
Yes.
Larry Church,
yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Motion passes.
No items removed from the consent agenda. Do we have any appearances and no appearances or petitions from the audience? We'll move to approvals and acceptances. First one being a resolution number 1, consideration and possible action to approve resolution number SMA 2024-03, a resolution providing for the employment of the Baker Group LP, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, in connection with the Oklahoma Water Resources Board, OWRB, loan forgiveness funding of the authority's sanitary sewer study project.
Motion to approve. Second.
Roll call, Jake.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes, sir.
Dana Miller,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes,
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Current business, number 2, consideration and possible action to approve the 3% consumer price index increase to Central Disposal's contract for the collection and disposal of residential and commercial garbage and refuse.
Move to approve.
second.
Roll call, Jake.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Dana Miller,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes,
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I would suggest that you just recess the executive session and reconvene.
Okay, we're going to recess the executive session and we'll reconvene at appropriate time. Move for adjournment.
Yeah, I would probably
Motion to
ask for a
recess.
motion to recess.
Motion.
Motion to recess.
Okay.
Second. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There you go.
Move
You can
on.
Move on to council.
Motion for adjournment? Or do you leave that open? You leave that open? Okay. So now we're going to go into the regular Seminole City Council meeting. Call to order. Roll call, please, Jay.
Tim Poplin.
Here.
Corey Crabtree. Larry Church.
Here.
Trace Connor.
Here?
Chris Anson.
Here.
Eddie Foreman.
Here.
Dana Miller.
Here.
John Kramer. Jeff Griffin. We have a quorum.
Mr. President, could I
Yes.
just say something real quick? We have a lot of new faces in the crowd tonight. We don't know if they're ready to speak or not, but we do have a sign-up sheet that we just need your name. If you want to sign up and speak, that's gonna, we need that in advance, so.
Okay. Moving on to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father in heaven, thank you for the city of Seminole and all those who call Seminole home. Thank you for those who have come before us to make it what it is today. Open our hearts and minds as we discuss tonight's business so that we may make the best decisions for the city and its citizens. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Consideration and action of consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, Jay.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Trace Connor.
Yes?
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Eddie Foreman.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
With no items removed from the consent agenda, do we have any appearances or petitions from the audience? Which would be a sign-up sheet.
I'm sorry, no one's signed up. Maybe.
Okay. With none, we'll move on to the public hearing. Public hearing regarding the Emergency Community Water Assistance Grant, ECWAG, through the USDA. Thank you.
There we go. So the ECWAC grant is funded through the U.S. Department of Agriculture and Rural Development. Kenneth Korn, the director of the Oklahoma Rural Development, he has been working with us really well in trying to get us some further assistance from the May 22 tornadoes. This fund is specially allocated for infrastructure, water and sewer. We have been trying to get some additional funding for some water projects that were disturbed during the tornado. And this fund will go a long way towards getting those things done. In the beginning, the ECWAC grant was up to $1 million as needed, and this can be not just for disasters, but the $1 million can be for just about anything. I believe Conwa used it when they were having some water issues at one time, so that they could drill a new well. There's no match for it, and the only thing that any city would have to come up with was anything over the $1 million. Because of the disaster, federal government gave USDA an added amount just for the May 22 disasters. So it looks like, from what we're being told, we could see more than just the $1 million for the things that we've applied for. This public hearing is part of the application process. The ladies from the Rural Development Office in Chandler were great. They came down here 1st of April. They helped us fill the application out. It went quickly. We were done within an hour. This is the last item so that we can fulfill all the requirements and they can help us get some of that disaster funding. So this is part of the list of the unfunded costs that the city had when it came to fixing some of our infrastructure after the tornado. The fuel purchases during the cleanup, Simic Auto Supply, equipment repair. We had to rent equipment. Haynes Equipment came out and helped with telemetry. Of course, the golf sprinkler system repairs falls under the infrastructure for the water. Craft rentals for sewer repairs. And to continue on, Core and Main, some 16-inch water line materials, that was a big hit. Electric Service Company did some booster station repairs and well 15 repairs. And the last two items, the cost of a new engineered SCADA system and the 3 miles of water line replacement are both things that we have not done yet. We haven't had we don't have a new engineered SCADA system. We do not have any water line replacement. That's for Highway 9, is that right? That's for some uprooted trees along Highway 9. Each mile of water line was $1.1 million. So USDA, Pam and Julie came down and helped us figure that out, 3.3, so altogether we're looking at 4.5 million. They were very excited when they saw the number, and they said that they're going to do their best to get us a large portion of what we need. We're just waiting right now. As soon as we get this, I'll send it in the morning, and I'll wait to hear from them and see what they say.
Fantastic.
So,
At this point, you probably need to invite any public comment with regard to the water emergency grant.
So if anybody has any questions or concerns, now would be the time. Yes, sir. If you want to come up, state your name, where you live.
Hey, my name's Garrett Chase from right over here in Harding. I was just wondering if that grant could also go towards maybe a public storm shelter for everyone around Seminole.
it's for water and sewer only.
Maybe we can look into that.
Absolutely.
For a storm shelter for the public, because, you know, there's a lot of people calling me because my dad has a basement,
Mhm.
and they're like, "Can we go?" I'm like, "Go ahead."
Come on, bring them all.
I'm just I don't know. I think I heard something about the college is open sometimes.
Yes.
I believe that's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions or concerns at this time?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sharon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon.
Help me straighten up my basement.
All right, well, I guess we're going to move on to approvals and acceptances, bids and purchasing. Number one, consideration and possible action to approve the bid from Game Time, a sole source supplier through Omnia, O-M-N-I-A, in the amount of $44,237.61 for renovations at Chase Park, a budgeted capital improvement project.
Would you
So we
like
just-
to see some pictures?
Yes.
Okay, let's work on that.
So both of these parks will be the same, McGuire and Chase Park. This is kind of the outlay that we're looking at. Within that area, you're gonna have a new, oh, I'm blank.
Merry-go-round.
Thank you. This is a new climbing tree that they've come out with. We'll be one of the first 5 in the state that has one. New teeter-totter. And a new 4-base swing. So you can kind of see the border there in this one with the wood chips inside. That's basically what will look like. Everything will be inside the bordered area. Kind of back up and show you the exact size. So it's 45 by 58, roughly. We've got some areas already picked out at both McGuire and Chase Park if this is approved tonight. Order will go in tomorrow, and hopefully we have these up and in. I can't guarantee by July 1, but that's what we're shooting for.
Do you know kind of where in Chase Park?
Chase Park, we're looking at where the parking is on the south side.
You're gonna have to tell me where
That's
Um,
towards your house,
that is.
it's
The
a
one
college.
closer by my house.
Yes.
Okay.
College.
That way we can utilize that parking. So you can kind of see there's a small sidewalk that's going into it. We can tie the parking and the sidewalk that's existing into the new playground. So it'll be a direct access into this area. Everything, the demo and everything would be taken care of city staff or taken care of by city staff. That saved us quite a bit of money doing it in-house. We'll level the ground, get everything prepped, and that way when they come in, we're looking at basically 2 weeks for a week of park for each park. So 2 weeks total to do both of them.
So this will be ready by summer?
Yes. That's the plan.
Will the concrete slab still stay in the water?
Yes, the basketball court will stay. Everything else will come out. We'll leave the basketball court and the 2 awnings. Everything else will be removed.
So have we figured out a way to monitor these, to put up a camera or something that nobody could tamper with, to look over these things? I mean,
So, next week, we will begin the budget discussions in the work sessions. You'll see packages, camera packages in those work sessions where staff is proposing to camera up some key places. These could be some of them if you want them included, but certainly things like Splash Pad, Boomtown, et cetera. We're planning it, or we, the staff, will be proposing to the council to put those in the budget.
Is there any way we can get those put up with the new play? I mean, that's, our new budget year is July. Is there any way we got the funds to go ahead and do that somehow with the construction of the new playground equipment? I mean, given what we faced already with the new park, I have concerns with, spending this much money and then having something. I mean, I know we probably have insurance that would cover it, but just some concerns,
You guys are my bosses. If you say do it, I say how high. So
Well,
if you tell me to jump, we're going to jump. I can't do it under this agenda item, but I can certainly put it on there for another meeting. If you want to have a special meeting, we can do that.
Can we vote to increase the amount to allow for a camera in this meeting with the equipment that you have?
It specifies the parks. You're talking about Boomtown, not these,
No,
right?
I'm talking about all of them, but these also, some way to, to protect it, something to deter, and protect.
Going to have to, so the agenda items are specific, 1 and 2. One is Chase Park, one is McGuire Park. There's an amount. There's nothing to prohibit you from modifying the amount for the renovations.
Does it matter that it's game
Specifies the
time, would that
contract.
be
But,
the only thing?
yeah, but we've got a sole source supplier. So is there going to be additional equipment that you're going to have to order?
Oh, yeah, right now what we're looking at is $8,500 per park if that's the
Oh,
way you
yeah.
want to go. But that's completely different.
That's a
avenue
different
from
contract.
Yeah, we'll have
Omnia.
we'll probably have to put this under another agenda item.
When are they
Be my
going to install?
advice.
We'll order tomorrow, and then we'll have a build time and a delivery time. The plan is hopefully we have them in somewhere around the 1st of July.
Okay, so we could actually maybe do this vote on the next, in the June meeting to
Uh-huh.
do cameras? Okay. Can we?
We can
make sure
do
we get
some
that
work
added, or-
in-house preliminarily,
Okay.
making sure that the camera contractor's aware of what we're going for and expect to have approval. We can do all that.
Well, I
and
mean,
then-
they're coming along at the other park too, so I think, I would rather not wait till July or August to get this done. I think the sooner the better, especially given that we've already had issues, And knowing
Yes,
the
sir.
issues we've had, we've had, those weren't the first issues. That was just, really highlighted because it was a new park. But we've had issues for a long time with our parks and being vandalized.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That's all. I have a motion to approve unless somebody already has.
No, I just want to say thank you for moving forward. This has been something that's been on our wish list for years. And I know definitely the kids and the folks in Ward 1 are really going to be happy about this, so thank you.
We've got a motion to approve,
Second.
and we have a second.
Roll call.
Jay, roll call.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Eddie Foreman.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 2, consideration and possible action to approve the bid from Game Time as sole source supplier through Omnia, OMNIA, in the amount of $44,237.61 for renovations at McGuire Park, a budgeted capital improvement project.
Move approval.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Eddie Foreman.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Moving right along to ordinances, number 3, consideration and possible action to approve ordinance number 1301, an ordinance amending Title 17 Utilities, Chapter 4, Garbage System, to reflect a residential and commercial rate increase to pass along the 3% consumer price index increase from the garbage service provider.
Move to approve.
I have a
Go ahead.
So I have a question, Steve. So we approved their contract, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think
2
that's
years
right.
ago? Okay, and so you'll have to refresh my memory. Was that written into the contract? that We
Yes.
could have increases like this?
This
Okay.
is in the contract.
All right, thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Second.
Get a motion and a second. Roll call, please, Jay.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Eddie Foreman.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 4, consideration and possible action to approve the emergency clause associated with ordinance number 1302 above.
Do we really need that emergency clause on this? I don't.
I was just thinking the same thing, but being that it's public health, safety, and comfort, welfare, if they chose not to empty the trash, we're going to have a mess. So it would fall underneath there, but you're going to have a 3/4 vote, supermajority vote for that to pass.
Does it mean number 1302, or does it mean number 1301?
It's 1301 is this ordinance number. There's an emergency clause that's the last provision of the ordinance that you'll have to vote separately if you want to pass the emergency clause. If you don't pass the emergency clause, the ordinance will automatically go into effect in 30 days.
Okay, well, it does say 1302, which is the one below it, not the one we just voted on.
This is not, I don't see a 13, I'm looking at I don't see 1302 is the containers, shipping container ordinances.
Yeah, but what he's saying is item 4 does say number 1302 above, but the above is number
Oh, yeah.
1301.
Yeah,
Does
it's a
that matter?
typo, it appears,
So it should be
Incorrect.
1301.
yes.
And also on number 5, should that be 1301 as well?
Or no, it
Let me pull it up.
Number 5 is 13.
No, that's shipping
That's right.
containers.
Okay.
No, 1302 shipping container, right?
Yes.
The emergency clause is associated with 1301.
Number 4.
Okay, so number 4, discovered a typo. Consideration possible action to approve the emergency clause associated with ordinance number 1301 above.
should. I'll make that motion with the revision to 1301.
Yep.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Eddie Foreman.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 5, consideration and possible action to approve ordinance number 1302, an ordinance amending Title 12, Section 2B, Part 1, shipping containers to include exemptions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Larry Church.
No.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Resolutions, number 6, consideration and possible action to approve resolution number 2024-05, a residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan resolution requiring the City of Seminole passage prior to release of funds for a community development block grant. The grant will be used to support Latham Pool Products, Inc. in an infrastructure project.
Motion to approve.
What's the infrastructure project?
So we're building a new parking lot, and we had the public hearing, I think, last month. We're building the new parking lot in the industrial park, and of course, anytime we get a federal grant or even a pass-through the state from the feds, we have to do many things such as Fair Housing Month, things like that. This would fall under that category.
Well, second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Tim Poplin,
Yes, sir.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 7, consideration and possible action to approve resolution number 2024-06, a resolution adopting the City of Seminole Hazard Mitigation Plan Update 2024 to 2029 as the jurisdiction's hazard mitigation plan.
That's all required, correct?
Yes, sir. It helps us get in the tent for more grants.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Current business. Number 8, consideration and possible action to approve the annual contract renewal for fiscal year 2024 through 2025 with Silver Star Construction Company, Inc.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Trace Connor,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 9, consideration and possible action to approve grant award funds of $64,821.68 from the Avitas Foundation for fencing, sidewalks, signage, and lighting at Boomtown Park.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Eddie Foreman,
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 11, or number 10, I'm sorry. Consideration and possible action to approve grant award funds of $12,299 from the Oklahoma Office of Homeland Security for the purchase of a server to store backup files for City Hall generated data. The current backup server will be moved to the police department for the detectives' file storage.
Excuse me, Mr. President. Will, do we have any other backup system other than those just in town?
Yes, we've got a cloud system, but
Okay. That's,
I'm not advanced enough to trust that yet. I'm sorry.
move to approve.
How quickly, well, is he here? Is Sean here?
I think he's in the camera room. You want to hear from Sean?
I would just like to know how quickly, if something were to happen to our server, go down, how quickly we can be back up and running with a cloud restore versus having an off-site backup server somewhere else and being able to just reroute it. Didn't plan on this, did you? With just a cloud service is like our backup, when they say cloud service, is that just like an automatic backup to a cloud somewhere?
So what we do is we have our backup server,
Mhm.
we have redundant storage as far as hard drives on that, and then we
Okay.
have a separate hard drive to carry off-site, we will take those out.
Okay.
As our primary means of backup, so if something was to happen.
We can plug that back in and be up and going.
We
Okay,
have that physically, we can bring it, we're gonna take it off that hard drive directly.
okay,
So that's kind of our primary backup plan strategy.
okay.
that answer your question?
How long will it take to restore if we have a crash?
I couldn't give you an exact number. It wouldn't be, it wouldn't take days.
Okay.
It would happen pretty quick.
Okay.
Especially if we plan out what needs to come up first. We'd probably tackle our income server first, and then get, important documents up and running,
Okay.
and then kind of go from there.
Okay, I just want to make sure, but yeah, we weren't down like a week or something with the
Yeah,
things.
no, we should usually be all right in
Okay.
that regard.
Okay, there's some question, do we have backup in the cloud?
Yes, we kind of got a hybrid. Some of our documents go up to the cloud. We do imaging physically to the server. That's how that works.
We're spending free money, right? It's a grant.
Oh, no, well, it wasn't about that. It was
Oh,
just about
okay.
wanting to make sure we had other sources other than just, no, it had nothing to do with the money. No, I'm good with taking the money.
I move to approve.
Second. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Sean. Roll call, please, Jake.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Eddie Foreman.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, now number 11, consideration and possible action to approve the Larson Design Group's invoice number 128776 in the amount of $40,275.02 for professional design, permitting and construction administration services related to the Family Entertainment and Recreation Center, a non-budgeted item of the Series 2023 Revenue Series 1% bonds.
How's that related to number 13?
This will be their last payment, in my opinion, unless they have some sort of legal action. I guess we could take it reverse order if you want to talk about 13 first, and then
Just want to know what we're paying and then terminate at the same time.
they have provided some service.
$40,000 worth, right?
That's debatable, but
Is-
yes.
In their estimation.
Are they items that we can take to another design firm and use, or is it pretty much going to have to start from scratch again?
I have, yes, we think that we'll be able to use parts of what has already been done.
There's nothing copyrighted or anything like that on it? No
The
warranty?
copyrighted parts we don't intend to use. That's part of why we're doing Section 13. Or item 13.
So is it the city staff recommendation, I guess, that we pay this bill?
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jake.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Eddie Foreman.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 12, consideration and possible action to approve waiving garage sale fees during the annual citywide garage sale weekend on June 6th through the 8th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jake.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Eddie Foreman.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 13, consideration and possible action regarding termination of the contract between the City of Seminole and the Larson Design Group.
Move approval.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jake.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Eddie Foreman.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 14 here. Consideration and possible action regarding termination of the agreement between the City of Seminole and the Seminole Humane Society. Yeah, we're supposed to sign up for it. Oh, okay. You want to come up and state your name and where you live?
My name is Alan Harshaw, and I live down here right across the street from Brahms. Now, I haven't been really a resident of Seminole long, probably been here 4 or 5 months, and I don't really know if I have the right to talk with you guys about this. There is a group of us, we're called Animal Guardians. Okay, and once the city takes this, of course, the city attorney will have to go in and find out the do's and the don'ts and the laws on it. Okay, because now you're going to become a 3-day shelter. You'll become a kill shelter, is what's going to happen. So you have 3 days to put the dogs down. Now, some of these dogs don't really deserve to go down, because some of these dogs are bred with death, and they're thrown out. Animal control picks them up, 3 days later, they die. You bring this dog in, even though that dog's gonna die in 3 days, if that dog's sick, you're gonna still have to pay the vet bill. You're gonna have to pay the vet to euthanize the dogs. Okay, and it's gonna depend on the weight, between $40, $50 a dog. Okay, so we're gonna be looking at some money on that. But like I said, even though that dog's gonna die in 3 days, and that dog's sick, it's still gotta be vetted. Because if not, Humane Society's gonna come down on you pretty hard. So, there's a group of us, and we're called, like I said, we're called the Animal Guardians. We get out of bed 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you lost your dog, you call me, we have boots on the ground within the hour. Okay, we'll be out all night, all day, ever how long it takes to find your dog. We'll get your dog back to you. Our group is willing, if you guys don't go into a kill shelter, to organize a group down here to get in donations to help with the feed, help with the vet bills, and help bring volunteers in. Our group we volunteer everywhere. I can make contact with Halo, I can make contact with War Dogs. We can help with this, with your shelter right here. And that way the dogs don't have to go down. Like I said, some of these dogs don't deserve to go down. And it's not their fault. They're brought in this world, and then they're dumped out. If your animal control officer can write tickets, write them. When I was animal control warden over there in Holdenville, I wrote one woman a ticket for $1,050. Okay, have them to write them tickets. Okay, then them people are going to stop and they're going to look back, because them tickets, you take like animal abuse, animal cruelty, abandonment. Them are some high-dollar tickets. Okay, them tickets, some of them tickets, they like I said, I wrote one woman 6 tickets, $1,050. Okay, but I'm just here to kind of defend your shelter. Okay. Okay. So like I said, and I'll be willing to give my name and a number and everything. Like I said, anytime you guys has got your dog's gone, your cat or whatever, don't hesitate to call us. We've got boots on the ground within an hour with a big group of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have one. Looks like there's just one person that signed up, so.
Okay.
We're open for discussion among yourselves.
Well, how long have we had a non-kill shelter here in the city? And since I've been here, it's been that way.
10, 15 years maybe?
I didn't hear.
There's a petition online going around.
I don't know the answer to that, Larry, but it's got to be 10 years.
Okay. And as I understand,
It's been no kill.
how many?
8.
8. Okay.
We've currently got 426 signatures online. And 100, almost 100 of those were today. Word didn't actually get out until Monday.
Okay. Well, that's a whole different story about the online surveys. I'll get to that in a little bit. But anyway, the point is that we've had that shelter. It's been a no-kill shelter for 8 years, all right? And we've gotten to the point to where the funding that has been available for a no-kill shelter is no longer available, as I understand it.
That's not my understanding. I know I didn't sign up to talk. The funding is there. The city provides the building and the maintenance on the building.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and if you look online, you can see the dogs, they're well cared for, they're well taken care of. There's been an incident with a former quote employee, and that sort of fueled this fire. If the city would let us know what's wrong that we need to fix, then certainly we can get about that. But if it's simply the inappropriate actions of one person. I mean, we need to be considering that we've had law enforcement people with inappropriate actions here in town that 20-year people were allowed to retire rather than, we didn't get rid of the police department. We're more than willing to do whatever the city wants done. The city is not paying for the fees, the city is not paying the vet bills. They're furnishing the building and maintenance of the building, which right now is in very good shape. It's clean, we invite anybody to come out and look. There were some problems with cleanliness on it several months ago.
Yeah,
That's been fixed.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Chief.
Yeah, what, procedures are you have to sign up, we kind of let go more than probably what we should have.
I'm just trying to reflect kind of what has occurred and what's going on. It doesn't seem to me that this is a new problem that has been precipitated by one person being out of line in a public place and when trying to capture a stray dog. I've been hearing about the shelter for all the time that I've lived here, about the difficulty with collecting dogs that are on the street, about people bringing dogs in from out of town and dumping them here because we have a no-kill shelter, and I'm all for a no-kill shelter. Don't get me wrong on that. My understanding is that it's not really a no-kill shelter, that they have a limit that's set by some authority about how many dogs can be in the shelter. Is that not true? Yeah, there's a capacity. When it goes beyond that capacity for so many days, then my understanding is that those dogs or cats or other animals are eligible to be euthanized if they can't be shipped out. My understanding is that there's a limit to how many animals can be shipped out. I'm just saying what I understand. And I also understand that people's animals are like their children. If you don't believe me, just ask my girlfriend. So they're like their children. You love them. You get attached to them. They move into your house. They steal your heart. And they take over. So those animals that are in the shelter now, I believe that they've been there long enough for people to be attached to them. And that if we do take over the shelter, the city does take it and converts it to a kill shelter, that I think that those animals, I'd like to see that they have some consideration to be adopted out or whatever. And also, I'm not sure about who's going to run it now. Will the police department be in charge of running the shelter?
I don't want to surprise them today and tell them who's going to run. There's a bidding war going on between my department heads if this happens.
The short straw gets it.
Yes, but my anticipation is that it would be the police department,
Okay.
as it was before the Humane Society took it over.
And so then we'll have to have an animal control officer.
Yes.
Specifically for that.
Yes.
So we'll have to create a new position.
Yes.
All right. The other thing that has always came to my attention is that there's an abundance of animals on the street at any given time. I can show you 4 or 5 stray cats just in my neighborhood, and I run them away when they come to the house. I don't feed them or anything like that, but they have a way of finding their own chow and a place to live. That hasn't improved since I've been here. Some of the vicious animals have been removed from the streets, and I'm thankful for that. but we've got a lot of people that have a lot invested in time and energy and emotion in these animals and in having a no-kill shelter. I don't see, I mean, what I'd like to see is if we take it over, that we have an adequate transition period to allow the people that are there to work with the city to make that transition. That's it for me.
I have a comment. So, for those of you who may not know me, my name is Dana Miller, and my son is almost 20, and when he was in a baby carrier car seat, I was taking him to Humane Society meetings. So that's how long I've been involved. I was a board member on the Seminole Humane Society all up until Thursday of last week, and I resigned. And it broke my heart to resign. And if anyone knows me, knows how much I love animals. But I want to clear up a couple things, because I hear that, you have all of these people signing the petition, and I think that's great. I would like all of those people to send in, those 600, to send in a $1 donation to the Humane Society, because they need it. Voting online is not going to fix the problem. But I'll tell you who has been trying to fix the problem, and that's the city. Last year, we sat here and we had a very long discussion. And I'll say that I was pushing back really hard, if you all remember, on taking over the shelter. And at that time, I personally went on a campaign to recruit new board members who were energetic and who were, excited about helping and going out and getting those donations and helping and fostering and all that great stuff. I personally, asked, during the budget negotiations, can we please have more funding to the Seminole Humane Society to run the shelter? At that time, this city council and the ones who aren't here and our city manager helped with this. We went from funding them $65,800 a year to $77,800 a year with an additional $1,000 extra a month. Because I personally went on a campaign and told everyone, more money, new board members, more resources. That's going to make it better, I promise you. It not only didn't get better, it got exponentially worse. I'm on the board the entire time this is going on. When I sat here on the council and we approved that money, and I don't know if my fellow council members remember this, we asked for some accountability at that time. We asked for a new contract with the Humane Society, and with that contract came reports, regular reports. If we're giving you more money and you have all of these problems, can you please tell us what you're doing with this additional resources that that the taxpayers are giving you? Not us, it's the taxpayers' dollars. Can you tell us what you're doing with those taxpayer dollars to make it better? Steve, have we ever received a report from the Seminole Humane Society in a year? Not one. Not one regular report has come in. And I'm on that board. Remind you, during that time I was on the board, and I kept asking for those reports. I kept asking for regularly called meetings at the Seminole Humane Society, which there aren't any. So there was no recourse. So I will tell you that the city also, when we talk about a kill shelter, this meeting isn't about a kill shelter. If some of you will remember, several months back, the city even went even further to help. And we created, because I sat in those meetings with our city attorney, and said, we went through what other cities have in their animal ordinances. Because like Larry said, we have it's the problem with stray animals and homeless animals I've never seen anything like it. And there's lots of reasons why it's happening. A lot of it has to do with socioeconomic issues. A lot of it has to do with the pandemic. There's tons of reasons. And we're not gonna fix it all with one Band-Aid. We're gonna fix it all with a series of policies and people volunteering and people doing the right thing. But the city went even further, and we gave up our own time. I missed part of my family member's birthday party when we sat down and we're going word for word, line for line, on what other cities are doing to address these issues. And we took those and we created a whole brand new pet ordinance for the city of Seminole. And we voted on that, correct? Yes. And we passed that. And there's lots of things in there addressing not spaying and neutering your animals, increasing fees for getting for people who have to register their animals. We thought maybe that will help. But I will tell you, the city has done a lot. So I personally took it, I feel like I'm in a unique position because I'm a city official, but I was also on the board. But I'm also just a person who loves animals and wants to help I'm fostering 3 cats right now. So when I see things online and people signing petitions saying the city is terrible and we're going to euthanize all these animals, and I will say that the Humane Society is the one who put that out there. They insinuated that we will go in and kill all of those animals right away. I thought that was terrible. I thought that was terrible to say that.
If it becomes a non-kill shelter, what else would you guys?
Can I finish?
Sorry.
Can I finish? Thank you. I heard somebody say that this can't be because of one incident. Ma'am, I would like to tell you it is not because of one incident. This is, for me, it was the camel, it was the straw that broke the camel's back. Is that what it? We've had incidents where the animal control officer took the truck and went to the mall and was speeding and passing up people driving in a very dangerous manner. We weren't told about that for a long time as far as the board or the city. There's several instances where the public is not even allowed to enter the city building, which is the shelter. People are turned away, the door is locked. They're not allowed to enter. What other city building are we allowed to lock it and not let people in? It's not even, you're not supposed to behave that way. Customer services and service problems, there's so many I can't even mention that I've personally dealt with on my own trying to fix it. But the Humane Society is not fixing it. The board doesn't hold regular meetings. And, there's just constant mismanagement of the shelter. And believe me, you can ask any of these folks up here. I've personally gone to bat and visited with each one of them. Mayor Griffin, who isn't here, him and I have had several conversations and probably hour-long conversations where we've discussed this and tried to find solutions. Steve, I'm constantly texting Steve, let's figure this out. So I just want to I'm saying all this to say that when I hear that, there's an online petition, there's things like that, I want to make sure that you all have all of the information. Because it sounds like a lot of people have half of the story. And I've kept my mouth shut this whole past week and not gone on Facebook and fought with people because I wanted to make sure that people have now the opportunity to hear the full story. And it's a complicated story. It's not, there's no one bad person or one bad group or, I'm not vilifying the Humane Society. I know the 2 ladies who run it, they absolutely would give everything they could to save animals. So I'm not saying anything bad about them at all, believe me. I personally stood outside with my family in November out in the cold at Walmart and we raised 1.5 tons food that we donated to the animal shelter. There were police officers out there who helped us load it up. So everyone is doing their best to make this work. Where I'm at now, personally, and as a city council, an elected official, I'm ready. I feel like we've exhausted everything we can possibly do. It's time to turn something over and see what else is possible. Because what's working what's happening is not working. And I can tell you, we have tried. We've thrown money at it. We've thrown ordinances at it. We've thrown resources at it. We've thrown donations at it. and it's not working. So I would like to ask all those people who are on your online survey and everyone who's here today to let's get together. Let's form a community. So I love the fact that you're out there doing stuff on your own. Just let me finish. I love that you're out there doing stuff on your own and taking care of animals. I think that's amazing. I wish everyone was like you. And I would love to, maybe if you would call a meeting and try to get everybody together, I would come to that and see what I can do to help. But I no longer have confidence in the Seminole Humane Society as an organization to run the Seminole Animal Shelter. And that really, you have no idea how much that hurts my heart to say that. But I no longer have the confidence in that. And that's why I'm going to be voting the way I am today. But I just wanted to say that, thank you all for indulging me. I just wanted to say that to be able to make sure that everyone has the full side of the story, because I feel like online you're only getting half of it, and you're getting a very hyper emotional side of it. But personally, when I see someone from the Humane Society choking a puppy and screaming obscenities at it, I was angry to the point where I was in tears. And that person should have been really happy that I'm not even gonna say that on official record. But that was the camel that broke the straw. No, the straw that broke the camel's back for me. But believe me, this is not just over one incident. I can guarantee you that.
Some time allowed to get the full story.
I just want to remind her, it's not an open forum. The council members here are able to speak, and we have a sign-up sheet for people that are, want to make comments, and it's reserved for us, actually, the council. So at this time, we're just going to move on.
I would just like to make one observation. Larry mentioned that the pets that, we grow attached to and that we love, those aren't the pets that we're having to deal with, because the pets that we all love and have at home, we're going to know they're missing well before a 3 or 5 day or whatever day kill date would be set, if that ends up being the case. But, as city council, the issue does not come before the Humane Society when you have people constantly who are frustrated with the strays and the animals that are running loose and at large. They're calling us, and they want us to do something about it, and they've been calling us for years now, and it's getting worse. So we do have to find some solution. I don't necessarily want to, go to having animals put to death. That's not the ideal situation. But unfortunately, we're kind of coming to a reality that, we have more animals than we can handle at a lot of times, and I don't know what else to do. Again, I don't think it's going to be that we're going to be killing people's beloved animals, because they're going to know they're missing well before that date's up. So those are just my observations.
And just one more thing too. That brings up a good point. When we passed that ordinance, we put in a window. You'll have to remind me, Brad, it's been a minute since we did it, but we actually, at that time, we essentially made it a no-kill shelter. I'm sorry, we made it a kill shelter at that time, because we put some time limits on when those animals how long they could stay. And so that's why I'm saying this isn't a vote for kill, non-kill. It's already technically in the books, in the law, it already is a kill shelter.
There's a preference for adopting
Yes.
and fostering animals in the shelter as it exists, and that's whether it's this shelter or another shelter that is operated by the city. It doesn't matter. That's the current state. And, obviously there is a provision in there that it does allow for euthanasia under certain circumstances, when we have vicious animals that's mauled someone, especially because you have to, you may have to take tissue samples, and somebody's life may depend on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's exceptions in there, and that's also in state law. So, that's I just wanted to mention that what you're talking about, the ordinances that were passed, that's probably the most expansive set of ordinances that we have done since I've been doing this for over 20 some odd years, especially when it comes to our animal control ordinances. And it's very favorable to preserving the lives and safety and welfare of animals. So, I mean, that doesn't change. So I wanted to make, that's something that does need to get out there. It's very, very favorable, so.
We
I
wrote it
would-
that
I would
way.
encourage anyone to get online and look at it. It's right there. And
And there, correct me, or please verify, there is, our rules as far as how many we can keep at the shelter also, aren't there?
yes,
I
there's,
mean,
under the contract, there's, I believe, 40.
49. I
And
believe.
then we have, there's a grace period, because you're not gonna be able to get rid of, say, 5 or 10 animals that come in over a day
Is-
period. So there's a grace period to try to get those numbers back down. And that's,
Who regulates
that's to
that?
manage the safety of the other animals in the shelter. You can't overcrowd that shelter. You heard from, Dr. Kuhn and some of our veterinarians that have made it clear that, you put those animals in a close confined area the way they are, and if you have any that are diseased, you're endangering all the other animals in that facility. So you've got to have some limitations. And we're not the only ones that have this problem. I'm telling you, every community has this type of problem. It's Norman, I was talking to the city attorney there, they've got a neat way of handling it. That's what we've modeled a lot of our ordinances after, so.
But aren't the limitations, are those regulated by the state, either the health department or some form of the health department, or, I mean, because.
Well,
Didn't they come in at one point and we had issues
Yeah,
that had to
the
be addressed?
Oklahoma Department of Agriculture.
We
I
had
don't
too
know what
many
they're called,
dogs, and they're gonna
OGAFF.
fine us.
Something
It's
to
a
that
state
effect.
law, and they was gonna fine us per dog.
They,
Adding up.
we're regulated.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's a statutory regulatory body that inspects all shelters, that are qualified shelters. So we're subject.
I thought there were some things that were kind of beyond our control even, like such as that.
Well, the size of our shelter, we're only allowed to have so many dogs, we have to have so many feet, of space per dog. I mean, the cleanliness, there has to be, I could go on and on, there's a quarantine area for sick animals, there's all kinds of things. And I didn't even know a lot of this till we started researching it, and the state looked at this initially. So there's a lot of regulations that have to be complied with.
Yeah, you have to also have a quarantine room for on a dog bite, got to quarantine that dog 10 days. And the only person that can mess with that dog when they got the dog right is that animal control. Nobody else can do contact.
Again, I just want to remind everybody, it's not an open forum, so
We had a motion, Mr. President.
I think we did have a motion.
No,
I don't think
We didn't have a motion.
at this
Well,
point.
I would just like to make one more observation. If the city does take it back over, we're gonna have to have someone in place to be in charge of it. And, we have funds that we've been providing already. I wouldn't say that if somebody, if we terminate the agreement, that we couldn't do another one. We had a group of people who came forth and wanted to do something, but I would prefer that we still have a city employee kind of oversee the thing, so we have governance as far as that issue is concerned, as far as the personnel issue.
Accountability.
And may I suggest that the contract is clear that we need to give lawful notice of 30 days to terminate the contract. If that's something that you vote on today to do, you're going to have, the Humane Society is going to continue to operate that shelter. And hopefully that would give you some time to look at it if that's what you wanted to do. But the contract is set to terminate anyway at the 30th day of June. So by operation of law, it's going to terminate. If you choose not to terminate that, you can terminate it earlier upon 30 days notice. But if you don't choose to extend that for the upcoming budget year, you need to give notice, as soon as possible.
Well, I move that we table this till June's meeting, and at that time, we vote to terminate or to not.
I make a motion for a vote.
You call a question, so it's say,
You've got a motion on the table to
Table it.
table, so there needs to be either a second or it needs to die. Is there a time limit on 2, 3?
Got a motion on the table here. Any seconds?
Going once, going twice, going 3 times.
With no seconds, motion dies.
Motion dies.
Dies for lack of a second. Now you entertain any other motion.
Yep.
Do I have any other motions other than the one to table it at this time?
I make a motion that we vote.
Got a motion to vote,
Which way? You got
To vote on-
to vote on item 14, consideration of possible action regarding termination of the agreement.
So do you want to vote to terminate, or?
That's it.
That's
Tim, what's the
That's the
nature of
motion.
your motion? You need to make a motion.
exactly what was written down on item 14. Action regarding the termination of it, because we've heard testimony from somebody that has been involved in it for years. We've all been involved in it for years. They've had plenty of time to fix the problem. We've gone over this, I know, 4 times, and it hasn't been fixed. You know, the law says 3 strikes, you're out, and this has been about 4 or 5 strikes. So that's why I'm voting that we terminate it tonight. If y'all rather table it, I'm fine with that, but I'm voting
So I
to
need a
please
second.
terminate it.
So the motion
So I
is-
make a
We have a
motion.
motion and a second. Jay, roll call,
I'm sorry,
please.
who was the second, please?
Chris.
Thank you. Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Trace Connor.
Yes.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Eddie Foreman.
Yes.
Dana Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, move on to remarks and inquiries of mayor and council members. I'm going to start off with Ward 4, kind of going in reverse order. Chris?
Well, I do want to thank everybody who took time to come out. We don't always see eye to eye, but I do appreciate people coming and voicing their concerns and their opinions on these matters. It helps us, so, moving forward, we can take all that into account. And I hope we can do so tonight on this and come up to some better resolution. Anyway, lots of things going on for the city right now. Appreciate everybody and all that you do. Thank you.
Ward 3, Tim Poplin.
I appreciate everybody coming out and speaking your opinion. That's what these meetings are about. And we live in America and we vote, and, sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but I promise you, everybody up here is looking out for the best interests of our city. And I'll talk to you about it anytime. Just give me a call about differences, but thanks again for coming out, and we do it second Tuesday every month. Thank you.
Now we got Tim. Ward 2, Eddie Foreman.
No comment, Mr. President.
We'll go on to Ward 1, Dana Miller.
Welcome to Ward 1, everyone. I also want to thank you all for attending, especially Jim. I'm sorry, I thought I wrote your name down on the one in the Texas shirt. Garrett, thank you, Garrett, for getting up and speaking. That takes a lot of guts to get up and speak and raise your hand and say you want to be heard. So thank you for that. And also too, I want to reiterate how excited I am for the new equipment at the parks, and that it's going to be ready by summertime, right when these kiddos need some place to go and play. And Steve, I had talked to you about this before, but Bryant, maybe I was talking to the wrong person. Bryant, I would love to have a touch a truck event at Chase Park, and I think maybe the unveiling or the opening of these new playground equipment would be great, so everybody can come out and see it, and it would bring the community closer together. So something to think about. I'd be happy to help you organize, or Steve, whoever. So yeah, thank you. That's all I have.
Ward 1, Larry Church.
Shift gears. Last couple of times, we've had discussion about social media research and social media polls and that sort of stuff, and it just came up again tonight. A poll, I don't like them. I've never liked them. I've never liked polling in general, and especially on social media. And I think that people may have, or at least I fear that people think that that's because I'm old and out of touch. When I first started to school, the first thing that I was taught about setting up an experiment or a poll is that you have to have a random sample. And you've got to have a group to sample from. The only way you get 100% is to question everyone in the group. Statistically, it demonstrated that you take your sample groups and you work it down. Modern polling comes out to about 100. You take a group of 100,000. I'm sure you all have seen this stuff when you read about it, about polls, per 100,000. Well, you take a random sample of that 100,000 group and you get a 95% accuracy rate if it's done properly. And that's the method that Gallup and those folks use. If you go online and ask a question and take that to be a poll, they all agree that it's worthless. It's absolutely worthless. As a poll, it only demonstrates that there was X amount of people that had some sort of incentive to respond. And it's usually those folks that have a negative slant. But I would like for it to be on our agenda for next month, that we discuss how the city is going to address the use of social media polling in making decisions. I'm alarmed that we would consider what comes to us from social media polls as something legitimate to consider for making decisions that impact everyone in our community. That's it.
I guess I'll say something here. Thank you for showing your trust in me to be the second mayor today.
Good job.
One thing that, as we all have said about our playgrounds, they're coming along beautifully. The Boomtown Playground Park, I just live right by it, drive by it every day. And when I found out or heard that somebody had vandalized it, it just broke my heart, of course. But thank you, Chief, for getting those vandals taken care of and putting them where they go. Boomtown Park's come along fine. School is letting out here pretty soon. And I was just wanting to remind some of the parents that have youth that there is a summer school. It's no cost, Monday through Thursday, around 8 to noon, about 3 weeks. Just get in touch with your school, whatever school they're at, Northwood, BLS, or Wilson, whatever. Also, this coming weekend, we have Boom Days, which has been a golf tournament we've had in Seminole for a number of years. It's probably way before, I don't think it was before I was born, but I have seen some golf balls that were dated pretty old. Then also wanted to congratulate a former Seminole High School and a current Seminole State, Carson Newton, had qualified for nationals in golf. It's quite an achievement for Carson. We really appreciate all his efforts and just so proud of him. And also, congrats to all the 2024 graduates. That's all I got. Now we need a report from our city manager.
First of all, we've terminated tonight, we terminated the services of the Larson Design Group, who was working on our Family Entertainment Center. They were, in my opinion, working way too slow. We were not getting the product that we wanted. And we were pretty upset when we got our first renderings and it looked, what was your description? Library? Yeah, it looked like a library. No knock on the library, but if it's an entertainment center, you want it to be a little more upbeat, right? You want lots of noise, not no noise. So now we go on to the next phase. We're going to select a different design group. We expect it to be accelerated very quickly. We've already been in touch with an engineer that would love to have the job. We'll team him up with a different architect and go from there. I want to say one thing, this is every single year regarding public storm shelters. We have thought long and hard. It is such a gut-wrenching thing, especially when the weather is in mod heading your way. There's probably the best description came from the Midwest city manager who was experiencing an F5 tornado headed at them and their public shelters. To say it was chaos is an understatement. The storm shelter was open. Thank goodness it didn't come at Midwest City. It actually stayed in Moore. It's the same tornado that killed the kids in the school. It stayed south of them. But when, by nature, we're Okies, okay? We stay on the front porch until it's approximately 4 miles away, and then we decide to take action, all right? Everybody jumps in the car, everybody heads, let's just say, for example, we put it behind Higginbotham's, okay? Everybody's gonna jump in the car, you've got 3 minutes and 30 seconds by the time you get in the car. Guess what? I've got Fifi with me. My neighbor has his pet python, George, and everybody is trying to make it to this in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And what they found in Midwest City was there were so many more people put in harm's way by offering that shelter. They would have had many more people survive had they just sheltered in place than had the tornado made the turn and come at Midwest City. So it's a tough call. I mean, we've been through it. We know how bad it can be and how scary it is. But providing a public storm shelter, I don't know. Well, last weekend I was at the baseball tournament out here. I mean, this is a great sized parking lot with painted lines on parking spaces. But when you're late to your kids' ball games, this thing looked like a piece of puzzle. People just lose their minds, and they lose the ability to process what's going on. And that's our real fear, is we're going to hurt more people by building a storm shelter, a public storm shelter, than we might save. Just having your prayers for our mayor, Jeff Griffin. He's going through a very difficult time. I want to congratulate the Seminole State College baseball team on their regional championship. For the first time ever, Seminole will host the Super Regional Championship, and that happens next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if there is a need for Sunday's game. So we'll be hosting, I forget which team we're hosting, but we're playing them. Get out there and support Seminole State baseball. Budget work sessions, we're going to be getting together with you probably tomorrow. We're going to try to start our budget work sessions next week, probably early next week. And so you guys be thinking about carving out some more volunteer time for us to bring you budget ideas and for you guys to tell us how you want your taxpayers taken care of. So that'll happen next week. Congratulations to the graduates. Boomtown Playground, as you said, is coming along beautifully. We expect that it will be done probably in the end of May. We're thinking maybe June 3rd, somewhere in there. That's all I have.
Fantastic. Thank you, Steve. Anything from the city manager or city attorney?
Nothing, just the mayor texted me and said, make sure that you close the public hearing. I said, I think you've moved on, but I'll make sure that you say those words.
Close the
Public hearing, there you go.
Okay, our next deal is executive session. Do I have a motion to move into?
Let's go to adjourn the section.
Motion to adjourn and then.
Motion to adjourn.
Reconvene into executive session.
Reconvene into executive session.
Well, we've got it on the city council anyway, so we could do that one.
You're gonna do that one first, and then.
And then, yeah.
You know, I have heard.
That's what we know.
So we're gonna, we motion to do the